Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. We're going to change the format of these videos going forward. Instead of having one cat, we are now going to have two cats. So this is Clinton, and this over here is Oreo. So now you get double the amount of cat for the same amount of money that you were paying before. Think about it. Think about it. So just to be clear, today's video is not going to have anything to do with anything going on in the news, technology, right to repair, consumer rights, or anything like that. This is just going to be an update on my comedic train wreck of a life because I thought some of you may find some of this stuff funny. So recently I did a video that said my business is being audited by New York State. That was last year. And in the video, I described why I didn't really think it was a big deal since I actually hire and pay a proper CPA to go through all of my stuff on a monthly basis and ensure I'm doing everything properly. And LOL. The actual reality of that was I spent a year fighting because they thought that I owed them almost $1 million because they could not read the records that I sent them. And after a year of back and forth, the 50 to 51% error rate it seemed like they assumed I had was reduced to an error rate of 0.11%. Which is, that's not even enough for a vacation at Disney. I literally spend more money than that on Oreo's cat food. But I digress. One of the things that I found interesting in this process while we were going through everything, when they were saying, you know, why was this not have a sales tax collected? Why did this not have sales tax collected? As I was going through and explaining how these different types of transactions are transactions where I'm not allowed to collect sales tax because that is not part of the law. These transactions are not sales taxable, so if I were collecting sales tax, I would be ripping off my customers by doing so. But for some of those transactions, one of the interesting things that I found was that for some of those transactions, the reason I did not collect sales tax and remit sales tax is because those transactions were null and void. So some of these transactions were literally transactions where I fully refunded the customer 100%. But for some reason, it never showed up in my bookkeeping system. So I had migrated the software that I use for posting online store orders to QuickBooks a while ago, about 2 years ago. And that software, because I was an idiot and set something up improperly, was posting when I took money from customers to QuickBooks, but not when I refunded customers. So this meant that both federally and locally, I was reporting more income than I was actually making, meaning that I was overpaying my taxes for 2 years. Now, when you actually look up how much this happened for, it's not enough to make it worth filing an amended return saying I accidentally overfiled. But that's the funniest part of all of this. The amount of money that I gave New York State is actually considerably less than the amount of money that I will save next year as a result of fixing this bug. So thank you, New York State, for ensuring that going forward, I pay less in taxes. What I find to be the most interesting part of this entire thing, I'm going back and forth in my head, like, should I bother? Should I not bother? Like, do I really want to go back and amend tax returns over what amounts to like low 4 digits? Not really. And apparently, looks like I may actually have a chance to do that because I'm being audited again. Yes, in my CPA's 30-year history with thousands and thousands of clients, he has told me that I have not once had a client that finished one audit and literally as they were finishing audit number 1, gets audit number 2. I guess it's a first for everything. Does anybody remember a year or two ago when there was that whole argument about having more money to the IRS, more IRS agents, more funding so that they could go after the billionaires and the big corporations that are screwing over the little guy by not paying their taxes so the little guy has to pay more, and how we're going to go after them. And this is totally not going to be to go after normal people or tiny businesses or anything like that. Doesn't feel that way. See, there's narrative. And then there's reality. After speaking with the supervisor, my CPA was told that this audit was random. Just like my last one. Random. I think I know where this is coming from, and I think I know why. At the end of the day, all of this is karma. You guys know Paul? Remember Paul? Paul is an employee that's been here for 5.5 years. It's going to be, and one of the things that we used to do is we used to have different queues for different technicians. And every now and then, someone might notice that Paul's queue had items in it that were slightly more difficult to repair than the items that were in my queue. And I just so happened to be a technician and also the person that got to set the queue. And one of the things that I maintained for the entirety of his employment was that his queue, just like these audits, are random. And it used to be a running joke here at the business, that his queue is random. For Paul, thanks for watching. And as always, I hope you learned something. Random. Yep, that's what we call karma. What do you think on a percentage chance of 0 to 100%? But these audits are random. Random. Anyway, here's what it is. My CPA is going to be eating very, very well this year. I've had him on retainer for over 10 years. He has always done excellent work for me, and he is being paid significantly better this year than he is in previous years because he has a lot of work now, and such is life. Either way, this is, I feel like I had to hide the pain Harold face for a second. But one of the things my dad used to say that I always found to be true when I would ask him, like, why was he laughing when something absolutely horrible happened to him, or right before he had his knee replacement surgery, or before he lost his job, or before he ran out of money, it's like, how are you laughing? And he always used to say this thing, if I didn't laugh, I'd cry. And it was excellent advice that I've carried with me throughout my entire life. So again, here's what it is. Again, my error rate was 0.11% on the last one, and I look forward to it being even lower on this one. And again, this may actually be a good time for me to bring up, hey, by the way, during that time period, I was actually over-reporting this stuff. So listen, I wasn't going to file an amended return. I wasn't going to file an amended return. I figured it's a waste of time. Who cares? But since you're already here, see where I'm going with that? That's it for today. And as always, hope you learned something. By the way, I'm going to include a link down below to a page that is going to have a temporary schedule for open to the public repair workshops in Texas. So the idea behind these is anybody can come by. You can try the hot air station, soldering iron, microscope, multimeter, any of the stuff that we have available. So the whole idea here is it would be helpful if you brought a project or something that you wanted to solder and work on, and I will try to help you along as you work on that particular project. I cannot guarantee that you will fix whatever you are working on, and I cannot guarantee you success. What I can guarantee you is that you will have a space where you can try and work on whatever it is that you're working on and get some guidance. And I also will have some donor boards available if people just want to practice moving around small components or small surface mount components on these boards, but don't have a board to bring themselves. But ideally, you'll have something to bring that you can mess with, and we'll try to work with you on whatever project you have. I'm going to include a link to a page down below. Again, these are free. There's no strings attached except be polite and respectful when you show up. For the first few weeks, these are going to be a little bit janky because a lot of my staff, all of my staff at the moment are in New York City, and a lot of my stuff is in New York City. We are going to slowly be building this out based on what people bring in and based on the feedback that I get from all of you. But in the beginning, it's going to be a little rough, so hopefully you'll forgive me for that. We're going to try to make something here that's really cool for everybody. It's my hope that other businesses can open up in this industry and learn how to do what it is we do and get involved with their electronics so that they too can be randomly audited. That's it for today. And as always, hope you learned something. See you all in the next video. Bye now.